All right. What's going on, guys? Can you guys hear me or? All right. Thanks for that. All right. So a couple of gappers today. It looks very slow, right? I'll just wait a couple of minutes to let the other boys come in. So what are you looking at? What are you guys looking at today? A lot of people looking at PIC. All right. There's a lot of things that are dropping today. NKLA. Apparently, the CEO resigned from the company in KLA. That's part of the reason why it's dropping pretty crazy. There was a guy that I was talking to the other day that was holding in KLA from if you look at the yearly chart, he was holding it from, I think he bought it somewhere here, from 29 average. He didn't sell into this. He did not sell into this. And he was asking what to do when it was like around 30, 35. Right now, boom, it's opening at 25. So that's precisely why you gotta take in some profits as you have them. You'd rather be like, okay, I took in some profits early than close a winning trade, lose on it. So one of my rules is if you're green on the day and you're green on a winning trade, don't let it go red. You'd rather exit for break even, right? But if you exit for break even, you get frustrated. So the solution to that is when you have money, take it. It's always better to say, oh shit, I should have taken it. Oh shit, I should have taken it then. No, it's better to say I took it early than oh shit, I should have taken it. All right, let's go through them. Well, the biggest gap for today is 17%. So as a short seller, I'm thinking today's going to be very slow unless something happened. Hey man, how are you? All right, let's go. What's going on with this? All right, it's not a massive gapper, right? Looking at the daily chart. Previously it did go to that 70 area. It had a crazy amount of volume, 200 million. That's unheard of. Around went to 7. Right now it's at $2. If it pushes to the 3 or higher, I'll be interested. Let's have a look at the company's fundamentals. NTN, yep, I'm looking at PIC, NTN, and NKLA. We're looking at the same thing. Alright, so 14% institutional ownership. Float is very small, domestic and reverse split. Right. Market cap 4 million, very small company. Cash liquidity have been material we need to raise capital. You see right here, they're saying they need to raise capital in the near term, but I'm pretty sure they would have raised some into that. Right now, yeah, I'm pretty sure they did raise that. Capital company strategy and insurability. So they don't really have any active registration. to offer shares. Cash burn rate, not much, about 400,000. Cash, so they do have a couple of months to last them. Operation expenses. So yeah, they're pretty tight on cash, but it's not like they'll go tomorrow. Alright, so I mean I'm not interested at the moment. There's nothing that I'm interested in at the moment. Like this is a drop. That's the second one on the gappers. Looks pretty quiet, but if you're long, N10 looks good. I'll come to PIC. I think that's probably the only one I'll be watching. Nothing interesting here whatsoever. Okay, they sold something. Oh. NKLA, the CEO resigned. I'm pretty sure that's why the price has fallen. It could bounce, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be looking this for short. Borrows probably be expensive on this today. Let me have a look at it though. NKLA. It's actually pretty cheap right now. It's $4 for 100 shares. What's up, guys? Yeah, Russ had his turn, right? He was pumping a lot of stocks a couple of months ago. Screwed a lot of people though. Screwed over a lot of people, man. I mean, all the people who were chasing after him just got burnt by him and by the manipulators as well. They were just letting them, buy it at a higher price. Yep. So this one here, Sava, I might actually be interested. Yep, Sava looks pretty good to me. So this area is definitely a resistant level. But if it breaks this, it could be support. Because in this one, both longs and shorts are in. So if it's under it, what happens is when it comes to this level, because if this goes, so let's say a lot of the volume, majority of the volume went into this, right? Now, if majority of the volume went into this, so there's buyers and sellers, short sellers and buyers, both are stuck kind of into this. So if the price falls, what happens is when it starts to come back up, it would, so people, long buyers who bought into this on Friday would be down when this is below, right? So as it's coming up, they will be break even, or they might take it for a little bit of profit. So this area would be used as a resistance level. If it breaks it though, it means shorts are upside down. They'll be down their position. When it comes back, if it pulls back, it would bounce from this area. All right, so this area is, it's a bigger range. But when you're playing, always don't have those, I'm going to have 10 cents, 10 cents risk, 20 cents risk. Use an area to guide your trade. So that's how I execute my trades. Many people, a lot of people when they trade, as I watched a couple of videos, they do not let the stock go against them a little bit. As long as it's within that risk frame that you put in place, then it's fine if you're right on it. All right. So I generally, if I'm shorting, I don't short a specific area. A specific number. So I won't be like, oh, I'm gonna short 10, and then when 10 hits, I'm out. It doesn't work like that because it could go above and below 10, right? It could definitely go above and below 10. So what you gotta do is you have to use, you gotta leave that wiggle room. Right, and that's very, very important because you see a lot of people, they'll be like, okay, for example, if you zoom in here, right? If you're a trader if you have a stop loss right there at VWAP, right? or if you're risking the VWAP and this thing breaks it with this much strength and you exit and comes back up, you're right all along. Yeah, it goes over and under. So you're right all along, but what happens is you got shaken out of your position. So what you want to see, the ideal situation is you want the stock to come to your risk level and then gauge what it's going to do from there. Is it going to hold that area and go higher, in which case you got to cut it? So if it's going to go for a second leg up, you got to cut it. Or is it going to hold that area and fall back and do what you thought it was going to do, right? So don't ever, for me personally, and if you're short an area. So for example, if you're trading this, I mean, you guys have seen one of my trades, right? If you short in this area, for example, you short every time it comes to that area, you short, right? And every time it comes to this area, you cover. So it's not a specific, number per se. All right, let's look at the gappers. Enough talking. All right, ATN, I'm definitely not interested. And the fundamentals, they look pretty okay to me. They don't have ATMs or anything like that, or warrants to dump. So even if they want to raise, I don't think they can at the moment. What else is there? NKLA, I mean, I'm looking at this for short, but I want this to push to this area for me to use that as a risk level. I mean, if you put a this is a solid risk, like that 28, 29 area is a solid resistant area. So if it comes to that, I probably would have a short position. It might not do, highly unlikely would do that, but until it does that, I'm just not interested, because I consider this, I've already missed out on the play. So probably, unless I see some weakness, what I would do is I would play it, if this just drops, if it washes out, I'll go a long position. If it, like a sudden drop, if it drops like $3, $4 or $2 even, if it comes to the 22, 20, 22, 50, 23, just one candle, like this kind of candle move, then I'll definitely buy into that. But that's what I'll be looking at. Other than that, probably. What else do we need to look at? Alright, PIC. Okay, PIC is the one decent one. One of the guys from, one of the boys from the chat room is already in, which is pretty good. So this one here, I mean, I was saying this area, 12 area, probably might bounce from there. I mean, the fact that it went to 13. So, I mean, they probably, let's look up PIC. I know they have ATMs. So what's the plan today, guys? So the way I trade Mondays is always I take it slow. So Mondays is a day where I'll just take it slow, let the market do what it does, let it set the tone for the week, right? If today's weak and a lot of stocks are washing out today, then I'll be a bit more aggressive and a bit more short biased for the week, right? So I'll let Monday set the tone of what the week is going to be. If we see something volatile, let's see something rips, right? And shorts get squeezed and that longs are energized, then in a short side, I'll be very cautious, right? I won't be shorting any lows. I'll wait for the stock to go as high as possible for me to short it. And I'll be long biased on the week. So I'll look at stocks to go long, right? And my long strategy, my general long strategy is this. This is my long strategy. Basically, you want to let the stock. So I mean, it didn't really play out exactly how my long strategy was. But what you want to do is you want you want to let the stock rip, right? Or pre-market gap up, decent upward, right? And then you want it to pull back, and you want it to consolidate. The reason why you want it to consolidate is because when it's consolidating, it's actually soaking up a lot of short sellers. Short sellers that are hitting lows will be trapped into this. Now, the key point is this. If you look at the volume in the morning, pretty high, right? So either it goes up or down, high volume. But what you want to see is during that consolidating period of time, you want to see a very low volume. Now the reason for that is if short sellers are selling into this, if whoever longs bought are selling into this, right? So with all the downward force on this stock, because it's a gapper. I mean, if you look at it, it went from 10 to 12 area, and it was holding this 11 low 12 area as well, right? So what you want to see is you want it to hold with low volume. That means is even though people are selling into it, this thing is not dropping. Or whoever wants to sell has the indication with the volume is whoever wants to sell has already sold, and whoever is gonna go short is already in, right? So what happens is now with low volume, if it's not falling down, short seller starts to get panicked. They start to buy out. They start buying up each other. They bid up each other, and it starts to squeeze in the afternoon. And this volume comes in, and you want to see a dramatic volume to the power hour near the closing. So that's kind of what I look for. So you want parabolic, a little bit of washout, consolidate with low volume. That low volume consolidation is very important because that's an indication that the stock, whoever is going to sell, has already sold, and whoever is going to short is already in. So the people who are trading it are already in, right? Now the only thing that's left to do is for short sellers to get out, which drives the price up, brings in the longs, and the stock rips dramatic like this. So what I expect from this is I personally I would wait till market open. I won't trade it. It doesn't look very interesting to me at the moment. So what I look to short into this is let market open, let it rip to the 13 area, and then I'll have started. But my ultimate risk level would be here at the highs, right? But you also got to be mindful about this area being a support level because it held with low volume previously. All right, so if it doesn't give me the entry points to the 13, I probably wouldn't get in. So in that case, today probably be a no trade, But other than that, no gappers. PIC, let's see PIC. I mean, yep, they do need cash. They have warrants for 20 million at 11.50. I'm not sure if they've dumped it. They probably have on Friday dumped it. Or they might have sold a little bit. KODK, let's have a look at KODK. That thing never dies, huh? Oh, it's dropping KODK, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, if this comes to the 11, I'm definitely interested shorting using this general area as a risk. Right, anticipating it could pull back from this area. But always have a starter share size and then add as it gets very close to your risk level. That's when majority of your share should go in. But I'm not interested shorting into something that's washing out like this at this point. It could go further or it could hold and bounce. And if it starts to bounce, now my risk level is really high and I get nervous. So for me, at the moment, I'll be watching PIC for market open for a push to short into. Other than that, I'll just be watching the gappers. I'll be watching for the scanners, something to hit on the scanner, and then I'll go from there. But I'm pretty sure. So PIC, I don't think they had news, but let's have a look. I think it went on purely on a technical basis, and probably they were pushing it. The news was alright. I think they're gonna get like 300,000 cash to expand, but all that expansion is to pay debt and stuff like that. Alright, so there's some press release that is investigating possible breach of. So the board directors are being investigated in this company. I'm not sure why it's not dropping, or am I looking at a different company? So what did you guys get up to during the weekend? How was it? I was really being busy. Like I was trying to create this and Photoshop's editing videos and stuff like that. So been pretty busy. But this thing is really complicated. I mean, there's a lot of things to learn about it, and it took a lot of time to kind of understand how it works. And all right, investigating Pivotal Investment Corporation. Okay, so all right, so the board directors might have done something on Friday. Merger capacity will require Excel flip through reverse merger that will result in Excel becoming company. So they merged, but the board directors, I think they did something. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah. I'm definitely interested in shorting this. Yeah, I see. I have it on a separate monitor. Yep. What else is any stock you guys want me to look at? We haven't looked at AC. So I'm really interested as well. I mean, they could push it, but it's looking very. The problem is I don't really like stocks that grind like that. I would rather short stocks that move decent parabolic with a nice range. You know. All right, let's see. Hope it'll be great. But my take on Friday is go very slow. Yeah, I mean Monday. All right, let's look at a yellow trade. This is definitely a no trade for me. It doesn't have any range. It could give you like 20 cents or 10 cents. But for a long side though, I mean, look, depending on what the news is, it could push to the 460 area. But a lot of bag holders. I mean, everyone who bought into this is holding, right? So it can't really go anywhere. It would truly go ballistic if it passes this. If it breaks that $5 area, I'll be very interested for long, right? But I wouldn't go long as it breaks it, right? Because this is where short sellers come into as well, right? This is where short sellers would come into. So short sellers would start shorting. So they probably go to like, a quarter there, and they'll add, but majority of the shares for short selling will be added into that. If it breaks it, a lot of good short sellers, they don't just exit at the breakout. Yeah, low volume as well. So a lot of short sellers, they don't exit for the breakout. What they would exit for is once it breaks out the risk level, they would watch it what it does. If it breaks out and comes back down, that's great. They would actually hammer it with even more size. But what they would exit is when it breaks out, consolidates, and it looks like it's going to go higher. Or if it breaks out, it pulls back, supports that, and it looks like it's going to go higher, is when majority of the cut is. Right? That's when short sellers cut the losses and add fuel to the fire. But for now, nothing else. Yep, it looks like a very slow day to me. You know, just stay patient and let the market give you, yeah. It's better to be late than get early and what is your chart? And is your chart not the same? What is it called? VRME. The reason why is because Trade Zero doesn't show you the early ones, right? I think that the chart starts printing after 8 or something like that on a daily. This thing has done reverse split. So as you can see this, it used to be very low flow. I mean, it used to be like 20 cents. They've done a reverse split. That's why the price has jumped like that. Sometimes it prints it, and in other charts it doesn't. So let's look at here. VR. So whenever there's a reverse split, some would update it and some don't. Yep. So with dust, they only updated it for like a year. I mean, for the last couple of months, I think. But the way it moved would be pretty similar, I think. Yeah, so if you look at this part here, this part here is this part, right? And it looks exactly the same. But this part here, it's right here at the bottom. This is before they did a reverse split, what the price was, right? So some of the charts, Trade Zero and Thinkorswim, what they do is when companies do a reverse split, they would just lift up the whole chart up by the split amount. Whereas this one, they only done it after this day. I don't know. Yeah, it looks a bit weird, but all right. What else is there? It's pretty dead. So there's nothing on the scanners. Yeah. So a lot of eyes on TNT. I hope they push it, man. I really do. I mean that's probably PIC and TNT is the only plays. If something comes up on this as well, like for a bounce or something, let's look at the early charts. This looks like it could potentially drop. KODK, yeah, definitely I want to wait. Alright, I want to give you guys a couple of stocks to watch. These are kind of big caps though. Alright, have a look at Gen US, guys. If you're a swing trader, especially, it could be pretty good. Not a lot of risk, probably 20 cents risk. But if you look at the daily chart, it looks like it's time for this thing's been basing pretty flat. They might push it to, I mean, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. It looks like it's curving up, so it could come to the 2 or 3. All right, so just keep an eye out Gen US, especially if you're a swing trader. I mean, if you buy 1,000 shares, yeah, soon. If you buy 1,000 shares of this and you're risking like 10 cents or 20 cents, you're risking $200. But if this pushes, and it doesn't really tie up your buying power as well, you only be you won't be using a lot of buying power. So if this pushes to 2 or 3 or whatever, all they need to do is put out a press release or some sort of news, and that would push it. So Gen US is one I'll be looking at for swing. Other stocks is now let's look at. This looks very interesting. SAVA. Look, right now, I mean, they could push it, right? I mean, looking at daily chart, they could push it above this area and go higher. All right, look at that. That looks really, really, I mean, for me, using that as a risk to short is not a bad idea. But if it breaks this and go higher, then that's a 52 weeks breakout. It's a lot of, it's a flat top breakout, 52 years breakout. There's a lot of strategies combined together, so that breakout could be very volatile. But at the moment, that looks like a really good short area, right? Yeah. I mean, the fact that it come and tested it 3 times. But this is good. I think this is one I'll be looking at today as well. What else is there? All right, what does this look like to you guys? What do you guys think about this? Looks like pretty flat top, right? Could break, go higher, or could push to the 6 area. I mean, could pull to the 6 area. But a break, pull back a little bit, and hold in that level. Yeah. So you want confirmation because this has been rejected several times. So in this kind of trade, I personally want a confirmation. So what I'll be looking at, yep. So what I'll be looking at this is I want it to break, pull back, and then hold in that area. That will be what my entry is, right? Because a lot of people get burnt on a pre-market, like a opening range or a pre-market high breakout, kind of a breakout plays. Is that they would buy into the breakout. sometimes what happens is if you buy into the breakout, like this day, for example, it broke out but got slammed down. They slam it back down, right? So you don't want to get into that. What you want is you want it to break out, you want to pull back and go higher. And the great swing, I mean, it did it here as well. A great swing idea would be you want it to break, broke that, it pull back. When it hold it is when you want to get in, right? And to the upside. But it looks like a decent flat top, you know. And they have been holding at a higher price. I mean, if you look at its AVA, see what happens? Same scenario. Or they rip it, they hold. The first day they push it higher, and they hold it. They don't let this thing fall apart, right? They hold it at a higher price, and then shorts that are in get panicked, and then they push this thing second higher. Now, if it holds this area, they don't let it drop. It is a high possibility, right? If they don't let it drop from this and it holds as it held here, you see that kind of action here, there's a high chance this could rip above this. And if it does, it's going to have a really dramatic explosion to the upside. So Sava, CBay, I mean, these are just stocks to stay familiar. So let's say Sava or CBay breaks in the next day you come in, you're already familiar with it and you know what the stock looks like, right? So that's the kind of thing you want to do. Other one is so the good thing about Watchlist there is you can combine them. So you look at other people's Watchlist, you bring in your own Watchlist, and then you combine them and you pick which one is the best for you to trade. This thing is the same thing. Consolidates. There's a flat top right here. If it breaks this 1350-14 area, we could possibly get going, right? So write down the stocks and do your research. See what the float is and what the news is, what the company is, and those kind of things, right? All right, guys, market is about to open. Let's see if there's another one I can give you guys. Have a look at SONN. Same scenario. It held. It's held in this area. It could potentially. I mean, it's been flat top, and it could potentially push to the 6 or 5. So, SONN is another one. You just should have it on your radar. All right, guys. I'm just gonna stop live streaming now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow at this time. Good luck. I hope you guys have a good trading day.